I wanted God to get me out of that situation right there and then. But looking back on everything, it made sense. God was preparing me, and that's the thing that we need to do. Trust that God knows exactly what He is doing. God needed to prepare me for everything that He knew was already ordained for me.
I'm in a season of my life right now where the only option I have is trusting God.
Hey, babies, welcome to my first podcast. It's your girl, Shani, and welcome to Becoming Shani. So, this is episode one, where it's basically will be the introduction as to getting you guys familiar with why I have decided to start a podcast, as well as to go a little bit into the word. And when I say the word, yes, I mean the word. We are getting into the word today. So, with that being said, please do hit the like button, comment, tell me guys your feedback, and please also subscribe. And let's grow this community. Let's all get to know God better, get to know me better. Other than the vlogs, this is gonna be like the calmer side of me where I am just here to like talk, resonate with God, and to connect with you guys through God. So let's get right into it. If you are new here, I am Shani. Again, welcome to my first official podcast. Podcast, yes. How it happened, why did I decide to start a podcast? Let's get right into it. So, I am writing a book, right? And I have realized that it's getting nowhere. I am not able to like go through with this book. And I was working with a client, like doing a client's hair, and we were sharing stuff that we basically want to get done for 2024. She was saying, oh, I want to like record, I want to get into the whole social media because I am basically just home most of the time. I am not doing anything. So I was saying to her, yes, get up, get into it, do what you gotta do, just take up your phone and record. And right there and then, like, it hit me. I said to her, I am writing a book and I am struggling to write. And the thought just came to mind right there. And I said, I should start a podcast. And she was like, yes, you definitely should. Just as though I was encouraging her, she was also encouraging me. And she was saying, yes, you should start your podcast. And I was like, what would I name it? And there and then, the thoughts behind the podcast was mainly my life. If you know, you know what I'm going through and things that I have been through. So that was the whole thing about my podcast. And I was going to name the podcast like something based off, oh, Shani's trauma. Yes, that's what I was going to name the podcast, Shani's trauma. And then it hit me again. And it was like, why not name the podcast after your book? And I was like, yes, that's the best idea. I'm going to name my podcast Becoming Shani because that is exactly what my book is about or will be about. And that is what I want people to know how I became who I am today, the struggles that I've been through, and everything like that. And it drifts. Like I went into a whole new dimension because as of late, like I have been on my Christian journey for one, but I have realized that God has been giving me the words even more. Like every single day, the words are just coming, and God is just giving me His words. I do try to write them down, but I realize that God giving me His words was Him also pushing me start the podcast. Because when I told my partner about me wanting to start a podcast, I was saying to him, he was like, what about your rest? And I was like, Oh, I'm not saying I want to start a podcast. No, but I am saying that it's in the pipeline. I do want to do this. But I just moved into my new apartment. So I don't have a couch. So I was like, okay, then if I don't have a couch, then I'm going to wait until I get one. And then that's where I am going to start. And God said, hold up a minute. Hold up. I gave you an apartment. You have a chair. You have a desk where you work. You do your makeup. You do your stuff. So why can't you sit at your desk and start your podcast? And I was like, hold up, God. Look at you taking me out that situationship and putting me into a new apartment, a new space, a new dimension, elevating your girl. And this is what you threw at me. And I was like, wow. So God elevated me so that I could reach his people. And I have been getting that word. And I'm like, okay, okay, let's start the podcast. And I was like, okay, order the microphone. It didn't work. This microphone I have here, I bought it from last year. And I used it once. And when I rewatched my video, it didn't have any sound. So I said, okay, I'm not using you again. And that microphone that I bought is not able to work. So I said, okay, let me go and dig up and see if I find this microphone and let me record my first podcast because it has to go up today. It has to go up today. And I am here now. So we are definitely going to get into the word today. I have 3 books right in front of me, and I am going to be sharing with you guys a little bit of God because that is why we are here to learn about God. I am also in my journey of learning about God myself. So I am learning about God while you guys are learning about God as well. So let's get into the word. So, on today's episode, we are going to talk about trusting in God even when it doesn't make any sense. And this topic is a right topic because I am going through this right now, trusting in God even when it doesn't make any sense. Because, as I was telling you guys, my podcast was not supposed to be about my Christian journey, it was supposed to be about my life. Yes, I would talk about God, but I would more center it on my life and what I've gone through. But God said, no, this is what I want you to do, and you are going to trust me. It doesn't make any sense now, but you are going to trust me in this process. And I was like, okay, okay, let's get it. Today I went to church, and guess what today's word was about? God gave me confirmation to say, girl, it's your season. And I believe that I am the carrier of the presence of God because through what I do here and all of that. And I see where God has been using me to talk to women. Like, I've met so many women, and the devil is trying so hard to not get this podcast out. And I just had to say to him, devil, not today. Because why am I now having space problem? Like, why? Out of all the times, why am I now having space problem? Well, let's get right back into the word because the devil cannot stop this. God already ordained it, it has already set in the universe, and we are gonna do it. Period. So today I went to church, and today's word was activating miracles, right? And the scriptures were Mark and Matthew 9. Mark 9, verses 23, it says, if you can, said Jesus, everything is possible to those who believe. He also went on in saying, because I have my notes from church, he also went on and say, we need miracles so that we can tell people about Jesus. God wants to use us. God wants to use me, little Shani, to tell people about him. And today was such confirmation that if this is not God, I don't know who this is. But I'm here to encourage somebody today, trust in God, even when it doesn't make any sense. Trusting God. If some of you guys know what I've been going through, because some of you guys are here from my other channel, and throughout all of that I was going through, I have learned to trust God. Like the whole thing of being told to get out of the house and me going to find an apartment, me moving out, like everything that was going on. I don't know how I have gotten here. Getting to this point or getting to a point of trusting God and putting everything in God is, I would say, you have to build a relationship with God to get here because I was not always here. When I just came here, I used to stress. I am from Jamaica, for persons who have been seeing me for the first time. I was stressed out because it's a new environment. It was a new season of my life. There were so many things that I did not know. And I was just stressed out because I was so like eager to like get it right, just get it right there and then. And it's funny because we don't know or we don't understand that everything in life is a process. It's going to take some time. And even though I knew that in the back of my head somewhere, I was still like, God, please just do this right now. Just get me through. I wanted God to get me out of that situation right there and then. But looking back on everything, it made sense. God was preparing me, and that's the thing that we need to do. Trust that God knows exactly what He is doing. God needed to prepare me for everything that He knew was already ordained for me. I came here, yes, I knew what I wanted. If God had just put me to it, to it right away, like I wouldn't have been prepared. There are certain things that I wouldn't have known. But God said, listen, another word, another word. God said, I am the potter and you are the clay, baby. Like that literally just came to me. God said, I am the potter and you are the clay. You are in the molding process. Little girl, calm down. I got to mold you. I got to bring you. It's a process that I got to put you through so that when I bless you, because I was saying, God, I need an apartment. I need an apartment. God, how long? How long? And I was going through a waiting season, and God said, girl, don't you see me working right here through you, for you? Just trust me. Just trust me. And when I tell you, moving right now into this new apartment, I feel prepared. Does that even make sense? I feel prepared to the point where I knew if I had just moved out, if I had kept those jobs, and if I had just gotten an apartment, I would have been struggling. I see God take me from working with companies that was paying me a little bit of change to me, my own boss in the United States of America, working on my own schedule, doing my own thing, pay my own bills now. What if I was just saying, God, just give me, like I was saying, God, just give me the apartment now. I am working. I will figure it out. For there to be a testimony, there got to be a test. Trust God process. Let me give you guys another word. Like I am learning about the Bible. I am learning about the Bible. This morning, I learned about the three Hebrew boys. I've always heard like the songs with I think it's Jermaine Edwards, like no Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, tear down the walls of Jericho. So I know that it will take good care of me, God of the valley, the mountains and the sea. So I will not worry. God will take good care of me or something like that, something like that. But I've always heard that song, and I sing it on top of my voice because I know God's gonna take care of me. And this morning, I bought this little book in Hobby Lobby, and it says "Worry Less, Pray More: A Woman's Devotional Guide to Anxiety-Free Living." And I tried my best to like go through day to day day-to-day pages to like guide me as to where I want to talk about, or not talk about, but read about, and a little bit of guidance for that day, whichever day it is, because I don't do it every day. So don't hold me to that. I don't do it every day. And the scripture for today was Daniel 3, verse 16 to 18. It says, "Your threat means nothing to us. If you throw us in the fire, the God we serve can rescue us. But even if he doesn't, it wouldn't make a big difference. O king, we still wouldn't serve your gods or worship the gold statue you set up." So this is talking about, and the title is Peace from the Inside Out. And it's talking about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And it says, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refused to worship King. I'm going to try and call this word. Take time with me. Nezbuk. Oh my God, not Nez. Nebuchadnezzar. I hope I don't have to call that word again. So that king wanted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to worship his idol. So he threatened to throw them into the furnace. But the three men refused to lose their peace. Listen, you see that word peace? Oh my God, there is nothing like it. They knew God couldn't rescue. Oh, my bad. Like what? Because I was like, huh? What are you talking about? They knew God could rescue them, and if he didn't, so be it. It says, we're prone to want God to change our circumstances, but he wants to change our character. We think peace comes from the inside, but it comes from the inside out. God had to change my character for sure. Because I remember, even though I wasn't like making a big fuss of the situation that I was in, I remember that I was not at peace. I was not at peace with the fact that God got me and God is going to take care of it. Yes, I believed in God, but at the same time, I used to feel so worked up, so stressed, so worried. And God took me to a place where I was like, okay, okay, okay. There's nothing that you can say to get me to react out of character. Yes, I will address certain things. I would have addressed certain things, but I would not get out of character. I would not worry myself because I know the God that I served. And even though I'm not the perfect quote unquote Christian that society expects you to be, I knew within myself I had peace. That's, I don't know how or when it happened, but me with my journey and knowing what I wanted for myself, I got peace that surpassed all understanding. Moving out of that apartment where I was living before, I wasn't even worried. I remember last year, December, I was supposed to do my prayer and fasting. And for some reason, when I started praying, like I started smiling. I was laughing and I would say, God, thank you. And you know why I was thanking God? I didn't even ask for nothing because maybe I had a list. I had things I wanted. But when I looked back from where He brought me from since migrating to the United States to where I am now, I was like, won't God do it? Won't God do it? And then I say, you know what? Okay, God, I don't need nothing from you today. I just want to tell you thanks. I just want to tell you thanks. That's all I cared about. And I want you to just trust God with your life. The other day, when I tell you, God's been giving me the words. The other day, I went into my car I knew about gas, but at the same time, I was driving. I was just getting up and driving because I'm like, okay, there should be gas in the car. And then this specific morning, I got up and I was driving, and it came to me, like it dawned on me, like, look at how I just got up, jump in the car, and just driving, trusting that I have enough gas to take me where I need to go. If only some of us would trust God the same way with our lives, to get up every single day, not worrying about nothing. The problems that we have, they will get solved. I'm a living testimony. The problems that we have, they will be solved. But just to trust God through it all, through everything that you're going through, just just trust Him and just leave it all to Him. Just say, God, just lead me today. Just lead me. Just I don't want to stress out myself. You go before me. Just go before me, clear the path. Just do what you got to do. I'll walk behind you. I don't mind walking behind God. I tell God every time. I say, God, any situation. I say, God, this, I talk to Him like I talk to my friend. I say, God, this is you. You are deal with this. Me not have time for it. Oh, face it of me. But He made promises to me. Did He not? So you got to hold yourself accountable to those promises. I'm walking behind you, so you just go and just clear the way for me. Makes it easier for me. I'll be at peace, knowing that God is gonna lead me in the right path if I just trust Him. So, with that being said, it's the end of this podcast. I said I was gonna come on and I was gonna talk for about 10 minutes, and I am pretty sure it's past 10 minutes because God was just on His foot. Listen. I was kind of worried coming on here saying that, oh, am I going to even find the words? And I was literally just talking, not even thinking about what to say, but words were just rolling off my, is it tongue or tongue? Off my tongue. Ain't God good? Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and see you guys next week, Sunday, for episode 2. I want you guys to leave down in the comment section. Just let me know how you guys feel about this podcast. Do you think it's a good idea? Are you guys willing to stay with me throughout this journey? Are you guys just gonna give it all, just trusting God and know that He will take good care of you, just as though He took care of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego when they went into that furnace? Not even a burn, nothing happened to them. They came walking out, people praising them because of the God that they serve. My God, the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. See you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.